Okay, I'm recording. Go ahead, Richard.
All right, N60X, and I pulled over, Dan, so I'm stationary. I'm in Marietta. This is N60.
Yeah, the 29.8 miles GPS from my station to Richard.
Switch over to FM. I'll unkey and
You got me, shit.
too complicated. But switch to FM right now. I'm going to unkey and go FM, and then we can do the comparison.
Hey, copy, Richard. Yeah, I'll let you know, Hart. Richard's there, but I don't think you hear him. Can you do me a favor, though? Turn down your power, because you're at S9. Can you go down one power setting, and then let me hear you again on DV?
Oh, yeah, me? Yeah, I'll drop it right now. Hang on. But there's 5 watts, Danny. Can you still hear me on 5 watts?
Okay, actually I do. You're about S8. I noticed below about S7, you don't come through anymore.
That's kind of weird. That's really weird. Well, yeah, I'm on 5 watts right now. 5 watts mobile, so interesting. Did you want me to try FM too?
Yeah, let's do that. Actually, it's not too weird. The noise floor is S6. So I think about S7, your audio starts cutting out or going away. But right now, based on where you're at currently, even 5 watts, you're about S8. Before, when you were mobile, you were cutting out below that, around the S6, S7 amount. So we can't, I know you can't go any lower than 5 watts. So, okay, let's switch to FM now.
Yeah, switch it. All right, N60XN FM. Hello, Danny O, N60XN Mobile FM.
Radio 55, check it in. Mobile, Radio 55, not mobile.
I hear you, Hart. Yeah, Richard, I mean, your signal's S9 now. Did you leave it at 5 watts? Go ahead, Richard.
No, and Hart, I can hear you. No, I went to 50. I'll drop to 5. Hang on. Okay, there's 5 watts, Danny. 5 watts, FM, N60XN.
Okay, cool. Actually, you're coming through, and you do sound better on D-Star because it's digital. It's more quieting sounding. But if you could somehow weaken your signal, I want to get it to the edge. Like, you're just a little too strong. If you could go into maybe a worse spot and drop your signal a little bit, then we'd really be able to compare them.
Yeah, I can drop it. I can go down to maybe 1 or 2 watts. But if you give me a minute, you and Hart pick it up. Let me hop out real quick. I'll switch over to the 7100 and just change the coax from this radio to that radio.
Okay, your signal's a little weaker now, even on FM. Did you do anything, or is it just fading?
I rolled forward. I'll roll forward more. Did it change? I moved about
I barely hear him, 5 watts.
I moved about a foot forward.
Yeah, it was worse. Now that you moved 1 foot forward, you're actually down now better. Can we go back to DV?
Back to DV. DXN back on DV.
Okay, that was amazing. Yeah. No more, white noise. No background hiss, noise coming over the noise floor like on FM, Have the squelch open, you're coming through, but you can hear white noise under you for sure, Where you go to DV, it's like a telephone, But what I'm trying to do is, so that's good. But what I'm trying to accomplish is what happens if you are on the edge is going to FM better because you don't need that minimum signal for it to be captured in digital mode. So too bad your signal's still too strong on your maximum power setting. Minimum power setting.
Well, I can tell you this, Danny. Digital will work better in that situation because just this morning when I was downtown San Diego, I was at a loading dock underneath a big building, 20-story building. I was keying up a D-Star repeater down there on Mount Woodson. I don't know where it was in relation to me, but I had no signal coming back to me from the repeater, but I did the echo test on there, and the audio was as clean as if the repeater was full scale. So, yeah, digital, as long as you're...
Let me jump in there, Dan, with
in downtown Indio. Same setup I'm running right here. And Dave was at his house in Chino Hills on his 7100 running 35 watts. and we made a UHF D-Star contact, and it was 93.4 miles on UHF simplex.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, go ahead, Hart.
Dude, a friend of mine in Icom, he's moved up to Reno now. Kurt, N6CRK. We used to play this game for days. He'd go to HRO, and we'd do the same thing. He had a nice little antenna set up, or he'd pick up a his DV. And that was even on the first generation digital, where there was a lot of R2D2. You never hear people saying, boy, I can't hear him. He sounds like R2D2. The latest software or something really changed a lot of the correction or data. But there's no signal.
Air correction. So that's due to the blur. P25. Started this.
Okay, Richard, real quick, switch to FM right now because you're dropping out on D-Star.
I'm on FM right now. Hello, radio, N60XM.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so I copied you. You're definitely noisy, but I'm able to hear you actually and communicate with you. Is exactly what I suspected. So I'm able to talk to you where on D-Star you were chopping out and almost mostly gone. So actually FM goes further. But D-Star, once you're above the minimum signal required, you know, a little more signal, probably about another S unit. But once you're above that, it is like amazingly clear. But to me, the minimum signal strength is lower on FM, and it's higher on D-Star. That's what I've just witnessed here. I recorded it, so you can go back and hear it for yourself.
Right on, man. Yeah, email that to me like you did the other thing, or text it to me. That's cool. And but D-Star is 6.25 kilohertz bandwidth, so it's more efficient. So if I was stationary, it would be D-Star hands down is better, but mobile FM is better because the signal is received differently. When I'm mobiling like this and my signal is up and down and in and out, and the receiving station gets received every now and then, yeah, it's all over the place without forcing the correction. But if I was stationary, it'd be no problem.
Dude, Dan, wouldn't it be cool if there's a couple radios that do that? You hook up two antennas, and it takes the strongest signal from whatever antenna. Kind of like DV, it would flop back from DV to analog, whatever it's going to hold. That'd be crazy. But I remember some fancy radios, man. You could put a horizontal antenna and a vertical antenna. It'll work whichever one's going to work better.
Yeah, it's a diversity. It's a diversity, and it does like a signal comparison. I know what you're talking about. I think it was an older Kenwood radio that had two connectors on the back, and it would compare. Forget which model it was, but I remember that there was a radio made. I think it was made by Kenwood a while back that did that. I know exactly what you're talking about. That's cool. Was going to say, I had the RF bandwidth set at 10 kilohertz before. Now it's set to 7. But actually it's 10 kilohertz in both cases. So your thing about the bandwidth requirement being smaller, or on digital mode it's 6.25. Yes, okay, let's say compared to 12.5 kilohertz to 6.25, that would be a 3 dB advantage. But from what I'm gathering here, you need more than 3 dB of more SNR to capture the DV. So I think based on what I'm hearing, based on the signal strength and how it was cutting out and what I'm hearing through, it sounds like you need about 5-6 more dB in order to maintain a DV connection where it doesn't start cutting out compared to FM. That's just my observation. I could be wrong, but so I'm sorry, but I have to say the FM still wins. But that assumes your squelch is open and you're listening to a bunch of hash and trash noise. The minimum signal strength is still higher on D-Star.
I disagree with you, dude. Let's go back to DV. Want to switch back to DV?
Okay, let's switch back. And Richard, are you still there? No copy. Richard, are you still there?
Guys, I'm telling you, dude. Scratchy crack. Switch over to DV. You're either in or out.
And most of the time you're in, you're going to hear way more voice coming through on DV mode, weak signal, mobile to base. We're talking mobile base where you're going to have, like, not picket fencing, but you're going to have break. You know, but, dude, we played so much, like I said, through the Cajon Pass, the high desert, to HRO, behind buildings and stuff, dodging behind concrete buildings. DV for the win. You'll figure it out, dude. I'm telling you. I know a lot of people feel the same way, including Richard and I. And Richard's a radio nut. If you think analog's the winner, keep playing there. But I'm telling you, if it's DV for the win, your ears won't bleed.
Hey, Richard, you still there?
Yeah, no problem. Put it on 50 watts, Richard. Full power. Burn that baby up. I'm 50 watts, man, but I'm close to the hills over here, coming up to Nichols Road. And the